In the last video, I said that because I had more voltage on the positive side, I was going to transmit on the positive side. And that will work if I have easy access to pairs of conductors. For example, if I had a combiner box or an inverter with quick connects on the bottom, where the positive and negative for each string are easily paired together, I could transmit on either side with it all connected without having to disconnect anything, because I can clamp pairs of wires. The pair that has the ground fault is going to have current flowing through it, and the rest of the pairs will not. That's because current flowing through the positive and the negative of a single string will cancel each other out when you clamp both of those conductors. Now, in that scenario or workflow, the receiver wouldn't be an effective choice because the receiver is just going to see signal everywhere. In this system, because I don't have pairs of wires that are easily accessible, they come into the box through a conduit, they go right to the positive fuse holders, and then the negatives go right to the negative bus bar. I can't easily get that clamp around there. So I actually have to open up the fuses on the positive side to isolate the signal to the circuit that has the ground fault. That means because I have pulled those fuses out, I can't inject the signal on the positive side because that bus bar doesn't go anywhere. I have to inject it on the negative side. Once I do that, I can use either the receiver or the clamp to look for the wire that has the trace signal going through it. It would be current on the clamp or the signal with the receiver. Now, I have this set in positive to ground mode. If you look here on the display, there's no lightning signal. That means that the unit is not sensing any voltage between the positive and the ground. That means it can't source the signal from the array. So if I were going to transmit on the positive side, for example, if I had a positive home run fault, I would need to change the mode from array mode, where this signal is coming from the array to the transmitter, to unit mode, where the signal is going from the unit to the array. That means the unit is pushing the signal into the array. Now I'm going to switch to my negative to ground, which is the way I want to do it in this scenario. And you'll see that as soon as it connects, I've got a lightning bolt at the top right next to the battery indicator and a lightning bolt in the bottom right as well. That means I have voltage coming from the array, and I can use the array mode to source that signal from the array. If you have voltage present, always use that array mode. It's going to be a more effective signal. Now that I have that, I've got everything hooked up. I've got my positive fuses pulled out. I can hit the trace button. It's going to start tracing. I have the audio alarm off, so I don't hear that audio signal. If I had it on, I'd have the audio alert for array mode, where the signal is being sourced from the array. Now from here, I can go out into the array. I can use either the receiver, going along, checking for signal there, or I can use the current clamp on individual conductors. That's going to work well in a situation like this. Again, if I had a system where I didn't need to do disconnects or where I couldn't do disconnects, I can use the current clamp on two conductors to figure out which set of conductors has the signal flowing through it. It's important when you're clamping two conductors that it's the same positive and negative for that string. You can't intermix between strings. In this array, when one string ends, the next string begins. So it looks like a positive negative pair, but it's actually the positive from one string and the negative from a different string. And the current clamp won't work accurately in that situation. So make sure that when you're clamping two wires, it's the positive and negative from an individual string, not intermixing between different strings. You can clamp individual strings when you're not isolating one side of the array. You will get a current reading on each individual string. The wire with the ground fault will have a higher current than the rest of them. So for example, if string 1 did not have the ground fault, you might read 10 milliamps on the positive, 10 milliamps on the negative. If you clamp them together, it would be 0. And maybe string 2 has the ground fault, and the negative side might have 10 milliamps, but maybe the positive side has 25 or 30 milliamps. that would indicate that positive side is the one with the ground fault. A couple things to think about with the clamp is that the clamp, it takes a second or two to get an accurate reading. So you'll notice that the current level will bleed down relatively quickly. So just give it a second to get an accurate reading before moving on.